everybody. Welcome to another episode of When Calls the Hallmarkies. And this is the show where we talk about When Calls the Heart. And we are talking about season 10, episodes 4 and 5. And I don't know about you both, but I thought these were really strong episodes. I enjoyed them both.
Hmm.
And I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Caroline is here,
Hey y'all.
and Mary is here.
Hello.
I hope you're both doing well. And would you agree these were both really strong episodes? What do you think, Caroline?
I thought so. I enjoyed both,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really cool to see Rosemary as a mom and
Yeah.
Lee as a dad, but
Mm-hmm.
especially Rosemary as a
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think we've all just grown with that character so much and it had such a journey that it
Hmm.
was that's part of the reason why they were so satisfying.
Hmm.
What do you think, Mary?
Yeah, two great episodes with lots going on, poignant, sweet, tender moments, really showing depth of these characters and relationships with others. I loved them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really good. So the first episode is called Great Expectations. And this one has the Coulter baby is late, but Faith assures them everything is fine. By the time Rosemary goes into labor, the entire town is there to support her. Madeline tries to stay in Hope Valley. And yeah, so this episode, starts with Rosemary and Lee. They're fixated on this baby, of course. You're at that point where you're getting kind of desperate. I've seen. I mean, you can obviously relate to this most, Mary, since you've had a child,
Yeah,
multiple children.
I've had five children, and I totally felt that, especially with your first, the doctor tells you it
Yeah.
could take a while. You could be going late and just
Hmm.
waiting and waiting and feeling so uncomfortable, and they
Yeah.
just yeah, and they were hilarious nervous parents to be.
Yeah.
But then
They
I
were.
Hmm.
thought
Yeah.
I probably was that way myself because I'm watching them like, wow, they're so
Did you have any that were late? Were waiting?
So mine were all so big that my doctor didn't want me to go late because they would do ultrasounds. And
Uh-huh.
my husband is 6'4",
Oh, yeah.
and
Wow.
so my doctor was like, "You're going to have a 10-pound baby if we'll let you go over." So they would either induce me or a couple. So I was always like early. So I don't I and
Yeah.
even then I was like, "Get the baby out." So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It did make me laugh when Faith is giving the counsel and she says, drink lots of liquid, stay active, and try not to think about it. You always hear that. Drink liquid. What else are you drinking? It's the only thing you can
Right?
drink.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that drinks except for liquids.
That's
Just say drink lots. You don't need to say drink liquids.
or
you
just
be a good
drink water.
journalist.
Yeah.
You think like a writer, Rachel. No redundant words.
But people say that all the time. Make sure you're
My
drinking
doctor
lots of
told me
liquids
my doctor told me that last week. Like drink fluid. I'm like, yes,
or
ma'am.
fluids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you drinking solids? How's that
Yeah.
working for you?
Yeah.
Just grind up a steak and
Yeah. So that made me laugh. But but yeah, I mean there's lots of things that people say like that if you drink what's it called? Oh, that I can't think of. It's not ipecac, it's the castor
oh,
oil.
castor oil.
Castor
Yes.
oil.
Yeah.
Yes, to
That
go
will
into
make
labor.
that'll make you go into labor, things like that. I
Yeah.
think you get pretty desperate at a point.
Yes, walking. He's
Hmm.
walking with her. Yep.
Yeah. I
Yep.
know my friend's a massage therapist and she's done like different massages that are supposed to inspire labor.
Mhm.
But yeah, especially someone like Rosemary, she whenever you have a situation that's not in her control,
Yeah, that's
that's going to
true.
be
Yeah.
hard for her character.
Yeah.
Yes. So then we have this young man who's at first I wrote down teen brooding, because I didn't know his name, but it ends up being Harry.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
hanging around town, and
I called him
I
I
thought
called
he
him
was
sketchy guy
a sketchy guy.
Yeah.
in my notes. I was like,
Right.
Yeah.
sketchy guy. I like
Oh,
teen brooding.
I was
yeah.
a big fan of him. I think
Hmm.
this is a good ad. They should use him more. I thought that he was extremely attractive and like charming. I just really enjoyed him. And he hasn't done a ton of other stuff. It's actor Brendan McRae is the name, but he was in my favorite from this year. He was in Prom Pact. He wasn't one of the leads, but I love Prom Pact. It's still maybe my favorite, not maybe, it's my favorite Disney film of 2023. Even though it's a DCOM, I really loved it. I thought it was very, very charming. Anyway, he's in that. But then only has 2 other small credits. So this is kind of this is exciting for him.
He did a good job.
I really was taken with him. I thought he was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's nice to get some young blood in Hope Valley.
I know. I wondered if they would bring him back and have him kind of be this new redemption story or recurring role.
Yeah. I mean, it says 2 episodes on his IMDb, so I think it's just these 2. But I was really impressed with him, with the performance, with his screen presence. I thought he had just a great look about him, and so I say use him more. He was good.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it turns out he is one of the bandits that chased Faith.
Yeah, I guessed it sooner than my husband. We were watching together, and I'm like, I think he's that bandit. And then I said, I was like, do we use the word bandit in modern day life? I just used that in a sentence, but they called him a bandit.
Yeah, they did. They did. Well, and I was a little confused though. Why was he stealing the lard? What was the point of that?
Okay, I'm so glad you brought that up because I had questions. What he's got in his pockets, and how uncomfortable is that, by the way? These cans of lard. Is it for cooking for his parents to cook with, or you can use lard for a lot of things back then?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know it seems like a strange thing to steal.
Yeah,
my grandma used it for cornbread.
Ooh,
yeah. Well, there are you do see it used in cooking quite a bit.
Yeah,
but yeah, I know
of all the things to steal.
Yeah, I know I
would not pick lard.
I know people who make their pie crust with lard. I've heard of that.
Yes,
but I don't know. It just
fried chicken,
especially for a young man, it does seem like kind of a strange thing to steal.
Yeah,
I was kind of missing on that, but overall, I really liked him. I thought he was very good, and I'm like, this is what Hallmark really needs right now, is young talent that could be in movies and shows, because their sort of stable of actors is now, most of them are in their 40s or in around 40, and they really need to get some young 20 somethings into the
especially when so much of their writing revolves around high school and memories from high school and boyfriends. So that tracks a little bit better if you're in your 20s, but by your 40s, you've moved past high school.
That's true. Nobody cares anymore.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't care anymore.
No,
I don't.
No. I mean, you can have a like persuasion type plot, and those work. I'm not saying make no movies. I'm just saying they really need some young talent though. To start to develop, and you can see, like, we need the new Candace and Danica and Lacey, and that we can invest 10-20 years in. So anyway, I thought he was really, they should look at everybody in Prom Pact. It was excellent, and everybody had big star appeal, in my opinion, in that movie. So then we have little Jamie is playing basketball, and basketball would have been pretty new.
So we Googled that. My husband's like, wait a minute. And he's like Googling, when was basketball invented? And he
it was technically invented in the late 1800s, but I don't think it was really like widely. There weren't basketball hoops everywhere.
With a metal rim and a backboard. And
and so it would have been kind of new, I think.
I think so too.
Valley.
Yeah. But I mean, I was trying to be.
I was Googling it too.
I think it's a Canadian who invented it, but it was in Massachusetts. So would it have started to spread? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at least they're doing, I don't know. I guess they're trying to show the kids playing together,
Ho, ho, ho! We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcasts, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
And it was
baseball.
So. Oh yeah, they've done baseball. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and later we have a scene of Elizabeth teaching in the school with Opal and Grace there. And I swear that is the first actual scene in the schoolhouse we've had for a long time. I mean,
I'm so happy to see that.
I know, like we've seen Opal a little bit, but to see Opal at school in a classroom, I swear it's been 4 years. It feels like it. 4 seasons.
It's been season 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long, long time. So that was really fun. I enjoyed that. And it was very cute to have Henry making the garden boxes with the kids.
Oh, I know. I loved that. I wrote in this episode, I said Gowan getting some animal horse therapy.
Oh yeah, that's true. He starts out with the horses and he really loves, and there is a thing about that. The horses can be very therapeutic. I mean, if watching 16 seasons of Heartland doesn't convince you of that, then
that animals are helpful for your mental health.
Yes.
And then working and serving.
Particularly horses, I think.
Yeah. So I thought that was perfect that he's getting that kind of therapy really and help for himself and then working with his hands and working serving the children. That's such a good thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's going to have something later on about like actual like counseling or therapy and like maybe Joseph and Minnie can start something and they can do the horses with counseling.
Well,
because I like that.
Joseph and Bill, they try to say, well, they lie and say that they've had a change in your sentencing and you have to do all this community service. And he's like, you are all the worst liars.
That was a cute scene.
That was really cute. And I love that they thought he needs a purpose. He needs something to do. He needs to feel better about himself. Let's lie and tell him it's for this. And he was like, I'll do it though.
Yeah, that was cute.
Yeah. I mean, and eventually he has to, is he just working for Lee, I guess now?
I think so.
I honestly don't know what his job is now because he was with the oil company and that is out. So I don't know if he might be working with Lee. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody works for Lee.
Yeah. So that would be interesting once he has to kind of start dipping his toe back into the work world and see what happens. But so far I'm really enjoying it. And it's a sweet dynamic between Elizabeth and Henry.
So sweet. Just to show you never know who you can touch in your life and how your words can help someone. And she's just so thoughtful to always being like, I'm care about you and I'm I want to know how you're doing and he accepts that. And I love that friendship.
Yeah. Then these were a great couple episodes for little Jack. Adorable. So we have at first him spooking Lucas was so cute, so funny. And Lucas, he wants to have a party for everybody and they are talking about how Rosemary and Lee are going to be mom and dad, and little Jack says a mommy and a daddy. And that, I mean, I could just feel all the Hardys' hearts breaking across the land.
I know.
His cute little facial expressions. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like his eyes, and like it was just like, he's just so cute.
It was really, really, really cute. And he asks when he can see his daddy. And Elizabeth says that your daddy's in heaven, but he's always with you. That was very sweet. Very, very sweet. And
in the Mountie hat.
Yes, and then she goes and gets the Mountie hat. And you look just like your daddy. It was adorable.
That was really sweet. That, I think, helps soothe some of those feelings that I still feel from all those years ago when Jack died.
Yeah.
That they're not forgetting him, that he's still kind of a part of little Jack's life. Then I wondered if she would add one more line, and do you want a new daddy?
I was wondering about that too, actually. That's funny. I was like, okay.
Now's the time to say, we're getting married, what he knows, because he was part of the proposal. But
and I was it this episode or next episode where Elizabeth talks to Lucas about it? It was this episode, right?
Episode 4.
Yeah. I've avoided talking about Jack with you to Lucas. She says that, and he says the more you love, the more you can love. And Lucas says, oh, little Jack wouldn't take off his Mountie hat. And so it was a nice moment for Lucas to show that he was fully supportive and there wasn't any kind of problem with that.
Yes, no jealousy or pettiness or, oh, you loved someone before, or that's, it was, this builds on it and your heart grows. That was so beautiful. And what a lesson for those who might be watching who are widowed or who have that kind of sadness in their life, to know it's all a part of the whole.
Yeah, and that they're still a part of just the memories alone, like whatever you believe as far as afterlife, like as long as at the very least the memories that we have, keep those people close to us, an important part of our life.
And I like that she said, like, she loves, basically, that she loves both. Like, I love you, and I'll always love Jack, obviously, because little Jack.
It's just her first love. Of course, she's always gonna love Jack. And so then we have Madeline. She is considering moving to Hope Valley, and she's particularly interested in this one part of land. But Bill says, oh, that's community land. That's not for sale. But it's always a little bit suspect because she's on the phone constantly with somebody saying, I just need more time. I just need more time. So are we to assume that she's wanting to get this land for someone else that is going to use it for nefarious purposes of some kind?
Yeah, I thought by now we'd have a little more hint about what that's all about. What is this new plot line of somebody on the other end who's pressuring her?
Yeah.
What does she want the land for?
Because her husband, is he living, or
I think she said she was widowed.
He died.
Yeah. And so it's not an ex that might be trying to manipulate her. So then it would have, unless she's lying about that. And so, who would it be? It's very interesting.
I know. It's almost a teeny bit
another bad.
Yeah. Blackmail from some bad person.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, I think there's no chance that she's like actually a real villain. But I think we're going to find out that there's somebody but I don't really understand why someone would want this land unless there's maybe oil.
Rights, maybe more like.
Oh, because she keeps saying she wants a stream on
springs.
It. Yeah.
Oh, the hot springs. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. That would be interesting.
I just don't want her to hurt Bill. Like, just leave Bill alone.
Well, I just don't understand why they went this route when you had Molly and Bill going, and then just to drop it, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know.
They kind of dropped it after 8, or did all that happen in 9?
I feel like there was something in 9, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
It all merged together, but
Yeah.
I just don't see why you had the need to bring in a new character or love interest for Bill when you have
had
Molly
one.
right there.
I know.
And that
Yeah.
was a fun dynamic. So it's weird. But so then we have the teen cuts his hand, and so then he's also like really sensitive about Scout and the dog
Mm-hmm.
and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something going on
Yes.
with his character, I feel like. But yeah, we find out that he's the bandit, and so Faith is going to treat him no matter what. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good medical code, obviously, that you will treat anybody, even though that is also forgiving of her because he threatened her, you know?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And then Nathan and Faith, they have some interactions. I did think Kevin McGarry was in particularly, I would say the next episode, like when he's getting those muffins. Like
Mm-hmm.
Kevin McGarry was in swoon mode in these episodes. He looked great.
Very fine form.
It's nice when you can get
Mm-hmm.
him out of the Mountie outfit. And I mean, I understand that is like not period appropriate at all, but I thought he looked great.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. I enjoyed that.
All those
And
Team Nathan folks.
yeah, I am like surprisingly not hating this Faith in Nathan.
Yeah, I think in the first or second one of our podcast episodes, I was like, it needs to grow on me, and it has grown on me.
Yeah.
They're doing very well together.
Yeah.
Good,
And
good
I don't know why, but I feel like Andrew Brooks has struggled with chemistry for some reason with love interests. But I don't know, this is working pretty well for me. And you're just like waiting, come on, do something.
I just need to know why about May. Like I need some closure for May.
Yeah.
Nathan.
Yeah. Well, and what are they doing with Fiona is also strange, and what's going on with Hickam. And it seemed like, are they making Hickam interested in Faith? But then I didn't see anything of that in these episodes.
No, there was a hint of it a couple episodes ago, and then it kind of dropped. So either they're laying these seeds and groundwork, or it's like, let's test that, or nope, oh, that just didn't work out like in life, you know.
But Hickam is the tour guide of Hope Valley, evidently.
I love
that
it.
was funny
it.
with pamphlets and everything, and he
Yeah.
takes her on that drive.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Well, and
so
he's the one that tells
it.
her about the land. You know, says that it's not that it's not for sale. And then we have Rosemary going into labor, and I think it's pretty common your first child to have a very long labor.
It is. Mine first was the longest. And so I liked how they portrayed this here, because sometimes in the movies and TV shows, it's like, oh, I have a labor pain. Oh, there's the baby.
Yeah.
Labor takes a while. And it did for her. And although I knew they were all going to be fine, I still felt that tension and that worry for her, because in those days, there was a high maternal and infant death rate during childbirth.
Yeah.
So I felt that worry and that concern, even though I knew, I'm like, she's going to be fine. But I'm still worried for her.
Well, and I thought they did a very good job with the writing, you know, setting it up at the beginning, showing that Lee was not good in medical situations and that he, you know, struggled. And so, I mean, it would have made sense in that time period for the man to not been there. That would not have, you know, happened. But it created a very compelling dynamic, because so they explain why he's not, and then for her to call out that she needs Lee was very effective.
So
it was
and
really
when
sweet.
he was like, I can't wait, like I got to go see her, and they were both wanting each other at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so sweet, because I really don't know how women gave birth without their husband. My husband was such a support to me, just right there by my side, by my ear, you know. And I had an epidural, like I wasn't going through as much pain as she was. So when he got to her side, it really was so precious and sweet.
Yeah.
And then she started calming down. I'm like, well, he's always been her calming, like ever since he came in, like he calmed her down. So I like that.
It was very effective, and especially for this couple that we've become so invested in. They really are kind of the lead couple of the show when you think about it, because of what happened with Jack. And so it was a very special moment, and to have everybody in Hope Valley with the candles outside, and so she feels your presence, all of that was very sweet and very nice. Yeah, it was good. It was good. They still have candles. Jack didn't exhaust.
They made some more. Oh, I guess you don't use lard for candles. You use what you want. I was going to say.
But they decided on a middle name of Elizabeth, which was very sweet.
Very sweet. Very sweet.
Yeah.
I love how they said, and I wrote such a cute baby and kind of age appropriate, not too large of a baby, not like this 9-month-old, but they said,
not ridiculous.
Yeah, like, whoa, that's a big baby. But also, it's hard with newborns. But how they said, the world looks different all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That is so true, that all of a sudden their world has just, and kind of on that theme of your love growing. You think we've got this marriage, we love each other, how can we love someone else? And then you have this baby and it's just, it's magical. Then your heart just grows in love for this new being.
Today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by W Rated, the podcast where we willingly watch the world's worst rated movies. Join me, Daisy,
and me, Claire, as we break down the IMDb Bottom 100, choosing a different film from the list every episode.
We take a deep dive into the plot, production, release, and reviews, usually with a special guest, to uncover if these films are truly as bad as everyone says they are.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Good Pods, and anywhere else you find your podcasts.
My mom had babies when I was 10, when I was 16, and when I was 18. And it did always kind of amaze me that you have a hard time, like you think back to memories before they were born and you still kind of see that person there, even though they weren't alive. Like, it's just hard to imagine your family without that person.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. They're so cute.
So it was very sweet. And
Pascal and Kevin did a non-Facebook live thing last week.
Oh, they did?
And with on Hallmark Channel. And they said the baby was like a newborn, like a couple weeks old.
Yeah, I wondered.
And she's just the cutest little thing.
Sweet.
Like, so sweet.
Well, and
it's gonna be nice to see an actual like newborn phase, like with baby Jack. We saw him born, and then the next time we saw him, he was like 5 months old.
Right?
So,
yeah,
the bigger baby. Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, and if you watch Call the Midwife, I feel like they've started to use kind of different models and not really real babies, because they have so many births on that show.
Oh,
they
yeah.
started to use like dolls, but really good looking dolls.
I mean, I'm sure there'll be plenty of dolls in going forward, but it's just so that newborn phase when they just sleep most of the time and they're just so cuddly and adorable. That is such a fun age.
Want to smell their head,
but they all got baby fever probably on
yeah. Yeah. And then so Jamie gets the offer to go to school, and Elizabeth's like, let's do it, come. More than
good. I was worried about him. I'm thinking, what is his education? He must be in a school break back home, so get him in school.
And then this is when we get that conversation between Lucas and Elizabeth, and she says, I've avoided talking about Jack with you, and he says, once you truly love someone, you love them forever. That was very nice. Yeah, that very sweet. So yeah, this, I mean, I don't know what else you could want from a When Calls the Heart episode. I mean, you have a baby coming into the world. You've got, great plot for Lee and Rosemary. You've got good moments for Nathan. You've got good moments for Elizabeth, for Lucas. Like, I just feel like if you don't like this episode, this show isn't for you.
Mm-hmm.
What else could they do? You know,
Mm-hmm.
They gave us everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'd give this a 10. I think this was a very strong, for this show, like, and what it's trying to do, and the message and the tone and the everything. I mean, I really liked the new addition. The new guy was great. I liked the thing with Henry. There's just, what else? Like, what else could you do?
I know. I agree. I'm
The
at
community.
a 10.
Yeah, that's like 10 too.
Yeah.
The community is really important, like this season. Like, obviously, like you could tell from episode 1 to like now, it's all about Hope Valley community.
Yeah, you didn't have a
can't
nice
wait to see what
moment for Ned and Florence when they were like, "You don't be stealing from our store."
Oh yes.
Yeah, and the little facial expressions when Nathan's like, "Good job, that was cute."
I thought that's a good judicial system. Just take them and make them apologize, and it's all good.
Yeah.
Hope Valley way.
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of what was his name? Is it Jesse?
Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of a similar arc with Jesse. You know, coming in. Originally he's a thief. All right. So then we have episode 5, Life is But a Dream. And this is Rosemary and Lee are still adjusting to parenthood. Lucas reveals the surprise he's been working on to Elizabeth, and Nathan has a camping trip planned for just him and Allie. And yeah, this is where we get like peak Kevin McGarry. He was great. This was really good. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode as well. I thought it was very effective. I mean, it's interesting about this whole plot with Lucas wanting to build a house for Elizabeth, because those row houses have to be tough. I mean, they don't look like they're that well made. Did they even have that good of insulation? They're probably freezing in the winter. And they seem pretty small, and they're going to want to grow their family. Like, it makes sense that he's going to want to build a bigger house.
Yeah, I get his motives. I think that when he's playing poker and the boys Hickam and Bill are like, have you talked to her? He should have from the beginning. And then maybe, they could have worked something together, because that's a big purchase, a big surprise. That you need some conversation about it. But I agree that that house is kind of going to get small for them. So maybe they just need to buy 2 plots north of town so that Lee and Rosemary can still be their neighbor.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't think these houses have more than 2 bedrooms.
I don't think so.
I think they have 3. Like because when Elizabeth lived there with Abigail, like I think they had like her room, and then
did Cody have a room as well? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
They're like Harry Potter's tent. They magically.
And because in season 1, because Emily and her family lived in a row house, and they have 3 children. So they have 3 children can live in a row house and be comfortable.
I'll just put them all in the same bed.
I actually think we don't know the name for the baby, right? I actually think that naming it Abigail would be really sweet and a nice like tribute to the early show is to have her Abigail Elizabeth.
Though I could see Elizabeth naming a daughter that. I'm starting to wonder if Rosemary's going to name it after her mother.
That's what I'm guessing now, because of all this talk about her mom. Like it's getting her
the preview for next, or Lee's mom. That would be sweet, But they haven't really talked about Lee's mom. They're just laying the groundwork thick for Rosemary's mom.
Let's think. We met Lee's sister,
who's older. I think his mom must be dead.
I think they said his brother died first.
Yeah.
I think then his mom and then dad. So that was his only family left, was his sister, I think.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're probably right. But I do think an Abigail Elizabeth would be really sweet.
That's a gorgeous
I've
name.
seen Hope Elizabeth around Twitter.
That's sweet.
That feels a little on the nose to me.
But that's what someone said. Like, it's too Hope Valley. Like,
She should go with Mary Elizabeth, which is my name.
That's what I said. I said on Twitter, I'm like, Mary Elizabeth, and call her Mary Beth.
Oh, that'd be cute. Yeah.
They're all about like double names too, like in
Yeah.
down south. So
Did you ever struggle, Mary, with what name you were going to give any of your kids?
Yeah, because we had 4 boys, and by the 4th, we're like, what are we going to name another boy? But then I think I still have a few on the list that I thought were still good. So there's so many cute names. My girl name I always had from the very beginning. But like the boys, by the 4th, we were like, okay, now what do we do? Then you meet them and you're like, oh, that's who you are. So
yeah,
my mom had my name picked out from the beginning, like it's a family name. So he's like, that's gonna be it. So
sweet.
Well, it would be challenging. I mean, not only to come up with one name, but triplets.
I know. All at the same time.
We all have family names, so that was easy.
Yeah, because it's you have 2 brothers and the triplets, right? Yeah, yeah.
My mom said when they got the ultrasound, was like boy. Mom was like, please let it be a girl. Like we have a girl.
Well, my mom, she most of the time we would have a name kind of decided, and then she would change her mind at the hospital.
Oh,
and I mean that's her prerogative. She did all the work, so she gets to decide. But yeah, for Samuel, my brother, we were gonna name him Luke, and that's his middle name. But my mom just thought it was too much Star Wars. Luke, and then with Madeline, we were gonna name her Beth, but my mom felt like it was too much sad character.
Little Beth. Women.
Yeah,
I get that.
And then with Anna, I forget what was the name we were going to. I can't remember, but it was something. And then there were. I think it was it Olivia? I can't remember, but there were like 3 or 4 other babies with that name born that day in the hospital, and my mom was like, well, absolutely not.
It's too much. Yes.
Yeah. Because with my sister and I'm Rachel and Megan, and I think she thought she was being creative, but those were like the 2 most popular names, I think, in 1981 and 1984.
I think I did grow up with a lot of Megans.
Yeah, a lot.
I had a lot of Megans too.
Yeah. Like you don't hear that many new babies named Rachel, I feel like, that often. But during the 80s, it was very popular.
It was. I do have a little niece named Rachel, who's about 6, but I haven't seen too many others because I go volunteer at the school and I always look at the name plates on the song, and I'm like, there's the trends. So
it's a lot of pressure naming a kid. Like they're going to be stuck with that name for the rest of their life, and like that's you have to do it. And
we'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarkie in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Caroline, do you have a name that if you did have a child, you would want?
I do. It's my first name. I want to name my daughter.
Yeah. Well, I've always said that if I were to I'd love Christian and Lily. Those are my 2 favorite.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That is sweet.
So
I want to name my son after my dad. So like I have a girl and a boy. My dad's name is Greg.
There you go.
Good names.
Very good.
See, all solid good names.
Yeah, but so come on, husband. Like we got like
Yeah. Well, So we have all of the women bringing food and going to see the baby and everything, and that definitely tracks for sure. And it was interesting because my mom ended up having a baby in all the different places whenever we move. She had a baby in Utah when we were there, and then we moved to Maryland. She had a baby there, and then we had she moved to California and she had a baby there. And each place was slightly different, in the traditions and kind of things. And one of the interesting things in Maryland, and I'm not sure if this is sort of a Southern thing or Mid-Atlantic thing or just a Maryland or maybe who knows, but we got cakes were the thing. People brought us. We probably had 25 cakes.
Wow.
And we got kind of like snobby at a certain point. We're like, this is store-bought. This is fresh. This is like,
your offering is unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's different.
Cakes. Yeah. But
for us, like, it's always like frozen casseroles.
Yeah. Casseroles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's helpful because then they can cook it when they need it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call it here in Utah, we call it funeral potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the cheesy, usually
good,
kind of creamed soup type thing. And
Yeah.
they're great for funerals because they're really cheap, they're really comforting, and pretty much everyone likes them. So
feed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
You have a favorite casserole, Mary?
A casserole. Well, we'd always get like a chicken and rice. We get a lot of pizza. I don't know. I would eat anything and everything people brought us, but I don't know. What's like a good Southern casserole though, Caroline? Like
yeah, hamburger casserole, like just macaroni noodles, hamburger meat.
I love like a good goulash.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah,
but cheese on top. My mom makes the best macaroni and cheese, and it's like cheese cut up in like chunks and like just all soupy, and then baked. And it's so good.
Delicious.
Thanksgiving. I've had that for Thanksgiving.
I can't eat food like that very much anymore because it's really salty, but I do really like it. It's delicious. But we did have Henry still working with the kids and making this seesaw and everything, and that was hilarious. And she's like, "You're telling jokes all the time now."
That was funny.
I wrote that down too. He makes a joke about the teeter-totter or seesaw, and she's just like, well.
Well, and it was here that we had the scene in the school. It was actually this episode, not the previous.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So they have the first scene, and it was just so nice to see Opal back. I was so happy.
And little Sarah is so cute. I thought she's a new little Opal, I guess.
Because I love Ava Grace, and I just love Opal as a character. When the whole thing with Jack saving her from the fire.
Oh yes,
that was a great plot line.
Wow.
And so then we have this whole thing with Nathan taking Allie camping, and he's like terrified, which I would be the same. And so Angela wants to come, and he's like, sure, more.
Yeah, that was cute.
More people to be responsible for.
Well, he just wants someone else to talk to Allie.
Oh, that's true. And she's her age and a friend, and so he's not. That's true. Yeah.
And so then Winnie and Joseph give in to Angela, begging, please let me go camping. And then Joseph ends up joining them, and it was cute. It was really cute.
Yeah. And he comes through the woods, and he's like, I caught up. And Nathan's like, let's just camp right here. I thought it was perfect. Don't go too far.
More people to talk to. Thank goodness, like an adult. Like
yeah. Actually, even helped because I wonder if he was nervous about, having, besides talking to them, taking care of them and Angela's needs. But I will say I was super grateful as they're sitting around the fire. He actually pours liquid into the cup. You know how I just they don't have liquid in a cup, because I'm like, just you had to act like you've got it. They had liquid in their cups around the fire.
Well, grateful. And I also appreciated when they're having tea and we get our toast to family.
Yes,
they actually were pouring some kind of
liquid as well.
Yeah. I was like, okay, good.
I know. I don't know why that bothers me so much. I was like, I see liquid in the cup.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I thought of that too.
I noticed that too right away.
And so Rosemary and Lee are trying to do everything and not taking a break. She can't leave the baby. And I do think there is something to the fact of, especially when a couple has had to wait, that it just feels like almost anything for yourself is almost ingratitude. And so I think that that's pretty realistic, that they would struggle with leaving the baby. And just that whole arc felt pretty real to me.
Yeah, me too. Because you're just so anxious and nervous as a new parent already. The sleep deprivation rang so true. Oh, I was so grateful for that, because it really is hard, and they showed how hard it was, and she wasn't as made up. She looked tired, and when Lee uses the napkin or the diaper as a napkin, I was dying.
That was cute.
He's like, that's a diaper, Lee.
All the clothes everywhere, and Lee trying to pick it up, and he's like, just throws it to the ground. Like,
you just think, like, what a nightmare that must have been, to have a baby and having to launder by hand all of the diet. Oh my gosh, how much work that would be.
I know.
Wow.
Bless their hearts.
Yeah, because at least people, because there are still people that do the cloth diapers. I've seen that, but you have a service who comes, picks everything up,
or they have
delivers
you had to do a service, or my sister-in-law, hers were like velcroed with little inserts, so you'd wash the insert, but you're still it's still a lot.
I mean, it'd be easier at this newborn phase, because it would be a lot harder in the like toddler phase, but still, I mean, just think how long everything would take. I mean, that's why it was a lot harder for women to have multiple jobs and stuff, because everything would have taken so long. I mean, even just to have bread, is going to take many hours, and things that we just going to go and get, for a couple of dollars, would be whole days of work.
Cooking, cleaning, no appliances. It's just all day. You're a homemaker. Because
it wasn't until the 1950s that you don't even think of stuff like, they didn't even have like a toaster.
Yes, yeah,
like everything had to be done by hand.
Remember in Downton Abbey when she gets a toaster that she tries to use, and that was probably like the 1920s,
right?
And it was newfangled. But so all those diapers laying around, and I just thought there's just so much work. So good for them to accept a little bit of help. Though sometimes I thought the neighbors were too pushy, like they just need to sleep. Quit coming in.
Well, at first she actually gets more work for herself, because she offers to watch little Jack. She doesn't want to admit that she needs help. And but that was really cute, and it allowed a great date. And we've had so many great dates between Lucas and Elizabeth.
And I love that she wore the Union City dress. I thought that was, and he, of course, he noticed it right away.
And that's why I always felt like people that were surprised by Lucas and Elizabeth. It's like, that's who she's been on. She's had way more dates, and that's who she's been with, who she's been dating this whole time.
Exactly.
And this was a really nice date. They danced, and he says, "I want to get you the world." And
that was sweet.
And he gives her little Jack's little drawing of the castle.
He's like, "I want to get you a castle."
It was adorable.
And she's like, "Oh, with a moat around it."
Yeah. And I do think eventually they will have to move, but I was surprised how intense Rosemary's response was to that.
Yes, I'm blaming post, hormonal and everything, but they also are such close friends.
And I think it's like abandonment issues with her mom in general. Like, Elizabeth is almost like a comfort for her, maybe. And so, like, thinking about losing that support system, like,
That's true.
will be
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did
But
really
with
like
production in general, they said they can't build more sets. So like that's
Oh.
why like you don't see any new houses at all.
Oh.
Like so that's why they have to use the same two row houses for multiple families like when they're filming. So like production wise they can't add extra. So
too bad they can't just move over all those sets they built for When Hope Calls.
Mm-hmm.
Those houses were so impressive. But yeah, I really liked the whole scene at camping with Angela, and then her singing "This Little Light of Mine."
That was sweet.
It was very sweet. It was very, very sweet,
that.
especially because that's like an old spiritual, and so that was really nice. And
that's my niece's favorite song right now, and she does her little finger like when she sings. It's so cute.
Oh, cute.
Yeah,
and Nathan can sing.
Beautiful.
He sang pretty well.
Yeah, he did. He didn't do too badly. He's done it. He's played a singer. He was in that wasn't it Song for Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
Kevin can sing.
Becca Tobin.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And, yeah.
I just didn't think Nathan would be singing. You know, like Nathan seems more reserved. You know.
It showed how much he relaxed and he was having fun hiking and
well, it's a very
together.
like campfire thing to sing.
Oh
yeah. Even if you're not a good singer. And then we had this sweet scene between Gowan and the little girl, and it says that pumpkins like to be together.
Oh, so sweet.
That was cute. Yeah,
it was cute.
I'm just ignoring the fact that all of a sudden the wood was all like finished and stained.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't raw anymore.
It really looked like they bought it at like Home Depot.
And they're like, and we're finished.
Yeah.
They worked really hard that Saturday.
They did. You know, we can believe that because he was helping them.
Yeah.
And Henry had a scene with another little girl in that Christmas episode when little Jack was born. He really shines with the little like helping the children.
The orphan girls.
Yeah.
He's reading
that
story.
That was sweet.
That was really sweet. And like I said, I did really like this whole scene with Nathan with the muffins.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, thank you, Kevin McGarry.
He was so relaxed after that camping trip. He's like,
we also get a nice little arc for May in this where they've been doing these spa treatments, facials and stuff at the salon, and but she has said, oh, they're from Faith, they're not. And so they ask her, why don't you say they're from your grandma? And she is just like a little bit embarrassed about her tradition, and so she says she has a complicated relationship with her grandma, and she felt a stranger to Chinese culture. And then it was nice. I think it was Fiona says, everyone loves you here and never apologize for who you are.
Yes, I loved that, because maybe was she worried about was she worried about discrimination or bias, or should I be all assimilated and American, or I have this past, this heritage. So that was really, really poignant. Never apologize for who you are. And then the girls just support her like they do. Yeah, well, we're gonna sell these, we're gonna package these, and they come up with the label. And May was so proud, you could see it in her face, like I'm grateful for this. When if somebody comes in, excuse me, what are these? And she's like, actually,
I'm glad they went that route. Like it was good to see May in that vulnerable like scene with Fiona.
Yeah, it was
and like the movie the latest Hallmark movie with Alexa Pennebaker was kind of about like your culture and stuff. So I like that they're talking about that. And
that was a good one, Mary. Never Too Late to Celebrate.
Yeah.
If you missed that when you were gone, I think you'd like it. It was really good.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
And then we get this toast to family with Lee, Elizabeth, Lucas, and Rosemary. And that was a very nice When Calls the Heart moment. That is why you watch the show, to have those moments, family, of community, of togetherness. That's what people who watch the show want to see.
And I've been wanting them to have like couple moments, like like double date. So I really enjoyed that, and that they are each other's family. Like so it fit with the whole theme about Rosemary and Elizabeth and Lucas even like struggling with that last year.
Yeah, and it's left on sort of this cliffhanger about Rosemary's family and her mother. And so we're going to find out more about that in the next episode. But yeah, another, I think, really solid, fun episode. You had lighter moments, you had more intense moments. I mean, who can't relate to what's going on? So I don't know. I maybe give this like a 9.5. I think it was really strong, this episode.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I might even beat a 9.75. They did such a great job as new parents and the family theme, and just so sweet.
Well, let us know if you're listening what you thought of these two episodes. We're as high on them as we are. Love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. And Mary, where can people find you?
So I'm @_Mary Richards on Twitter, Mary Richards Reports on Instagram, and reporter Mary Richards on Facebook.
Yeah. And we'll put in the description some links to if people want to help out with, you've just been in Maui. People want to help out with the relief there, we'll put some information because that's definitely important to us. So Caroline, what about you?
You can follow me on Twitter @MetaCarolineR.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. And also make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Most of our viewers on YouTube are not subscribed, so please help us out. It really helps the algorithm if you're subscribed. And then check out our patron group. We have our watch-alongs, which are really fun. And this next month, we are going to have director and actor Peter Benson is going to be joining us. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So you definitely want to make sure that you are a patron. And then we also have the merch store where there's tons of Hardee's inspired designs. So take a look at that. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.